what have been your biggest takeaways from what has gone on with the Browns out at the Greenbrier where you've been with them?
Well, there's a lot of familiarity now. You have some continuity in the players, um, in the structure, the practices. You can tell that everything was new last year when they got there. This year, the majority know what to do, and the rookies and the new people just follow in line. But you have a little bit of a semblance of new coaches, mostly on the offensive side. So I guess the biggest takeaway has been the continuity, familiarity. Um, for the most part, you still have some of the star players kind of off to the side, not doing a whole lot. They were just after 3 days of no pads. Monday was to be the first day in pads. They were in pads, but we got some mountain rainstorms where they had to move the practice up to try to beat a gully washer. And so it was shorter. They didn't do a whole lot. Yesterday, they had a morning practice, got moved to about 2:30 in the afternoon. They did a little more. They did team 11 on 11, 7 on 7 in pads, really, or shells for the first time. But I guess the biggest thing is big question was Deshaun Watson, would he throw every day? He never did in the entire offseason. It was every other day. The first five practices he's participated, he's thrown. He's looked pretty good. I mean, inconsistent at times, but as early as it is, I guess the big milestone is that he's doing it every day and there's not a setback where they're, you know, shutting him down. So he had a scheduled, originally, we were told he was going to not throw yesterday, but he ended up throwing. So today was the off day, other than the walkthrough. It was closed to the media. Tomorrow, he'll be back out there, expected to throw. And Nick Chubb, I mean, I report on it. We couldn't video it, but after practice one day, after interviews, we were walking, back to our uh, media tent, and Chubb was out with a trainer sprinting, and I didn't have really anything to compare him to, but he looked like the Nick Chubb to me. He was flying, you know, and I mean, he looked about his full speed. It was pretty much straight line. He even zigzagged a little bit, but they're downplaying, taking things slow, but I think he's ahead of schedule. I don't know when that'll mean that he'll end up playing, but he looked pretty good. So there's been different things. Mike Vrabel, he looks like quite an asset. He's running all over the field, coaching everybody, and we talked to him. And there's a lot of positives right now. You haven't really had any adversity, any major injuries, anything like that.
The other thing that strikes me, they're kind of ramping up to what would be full training camp practices, correct? We really haven't seen where they're going full pads and really a lot of contact, which I get why they do that. I understand it. It's kind of been the way Kevin Stefanski and this organization has run things. Is that kind of a ramp up still?
Yeah, it is acclimation. Um, tomorrow they're not. I believe they're going to be in shells, so that's not full pads. It's kind of somewhat, but on Friday, just before they come home, it's like a walkthrough at 9 o'clock until about 9:45. Then they get on a plane and come back to Berea. Saturday they're off. Then Sunday is first practice in Berea, open to the fans. There's only six this year, and so that'll be Sunday. So the thing is, Dave, this isn't like it used to be when we were younger and we'd go cover. They don't really do a whole lot of hitting. They might have an initial pop, but they don't. There's no pile driving to the ground or things like that. Really, they do some of that in the individual drills. The linemen or the linebackers, but a lot of it is with dummies and things like that. So yeah, it really is. I think preservation, because once you start playing preseason games, you really can't, you know, protect the players that are out there. That's it's a contact sport. So, that's kind of the do you or don't you. Mike Tomlin with the Steelers has always been noted for full go, physical contact, but I don't know if there's much difference in the injuries. They have guys that get injured, just as much as the Browns do. So yeah, it's Kevin Stefanski's style is just kind of try to get him to the regular season as healthy as possible.
Yeah, and I get it. I understand it without question. And I'm with you. There's no right or wrong.